Hello everyone, it's Houmi and Pia from Creative Recruiters for Lunch with Pia and Houmi. so today
we're not actually having lunch.
So today we're going to talk about how you will be able to optimize your LinkedIn profile in order to be found by employers or people who might be looking for a specific skill set. So we're going to go through different points that might help you. And we start with really basics. Would you like to start with the basic ones?
It might seem really obvious, but make sure, first of all, that your LinkedIn profile is all up to date in terms of the location. So when you actually apply for a job and your location isn't up to date, recruiters have the option to not see if you're not in the right location. So you might be missing out on opportunities there. Also, make sure that your email address that you've got on LinkedIn is your current one, because when you connect it with someone on LinkedIn, they can actually, they've got the access to your email address that you've got on LinkedIn. So you do want that to be, your most recent one so you don't miss out. Then obviously current role, industry, headline, all of that you want to be up to date. And also there's a little option. So if you're, for example, a graphic designer or copywriter, if you have a folio, there's an option to have a link included on your profile. Just make sure that link works, make sure it's all up to date. It's quite a lot of times that I'm like, oh yeah, I can click on that folio and then the link might be broken. So, or
it goes to like a website from 1999 and then like it's in Flash, or it's really outdated, and your work might have really improved since then, and you don't want that type of work to reflect what you're doing right now. Yes, yeah. And then also, I think we're going to talk about profile pictures. I know it seems really simple that everyone thinks that having a professional photo is really difficult to have, or it comes naturally, but it's funny that you see a lot of pictures that are not really appropriate. First of all, having a picture is really important.
You're something like 11 times more likely to be viewed in search when you come up when there's a little picture versus no picture. So you do want to have a picture there.
Yeah, and it gives you a little bit of a feeling of who you are, and it does help people to understand who you are, and also make sure that your picture is current. Because it's really surprising if your picture is not like, it doesn't look like you, or if it's something else, and then when they meet with you and it's totally, you look
can get awkward when you're looking for who you're interviewing.
Yeah.
And they've changed their hair color from red to blonde or something.
Yeah.
And also don't crop people out of the shot. It's really basic stuff. I mean, we take our photos in front of the office wall.
Yeah.
I don't think
it doesn't have to be professional, like you don't have to go to but I would recommend selfies usually don't work. So like selfies usually come across as not so professional. So make sure that even if it is a selfie, at least it looks still a little bit professional. Yes, and no pictures of, I think, partying, that type of photos. It's a bit like like it's almost looking for someone to join their team and see a picture of you partying. I don't think it's something that people would really be interested in. So,
depends on which industry you're in. I mean, partying probably never, but you can be a bit more flexible if you're working in a creative agency, for example. But still be nice to see your face. Sometimes people cover their face and it's weird. I mean, it's nice to know who you're talking to as well. And then if you want to go a little step further, there's also the option to upload a background photo. It's optional. You don't need to be doing it. It's only something that people will see once they're on your profile already. So it's not necessarily going to make you get found quicker or anything like that. But if you are, I think one day I was looking for someone in tourism and they had this really nice beach photo.
Oh,
and it just kind of suit the profile, and also just made me really happy.
And if you're creative, you can showcase some of the type of work that you like to do, like what you've done. So you come across a lot of professionals that they have a really beautiful background as part of their folio is out there, and it just reflects the type of work that they do straight away, which captures your attention, which is quite good. Yeah. And I think then the next thing will be keywords.
Keywords.
Yes.
Keywords are so important. That's how we find you guys. Maybe do a bit of a brainstorm. Which are the keywords that are most important for your specific role or the role that you want to be in? It could help to go on Seek or go on to LinkedIn, have a look at the roles that you're interested in and what kind of keywords are in their job description, and then make sure that you mention them in your headline, in your summary, and in your profile in general.
Yes, no, that is really helpful. And even sometimes you might even apply for a job, and for that job they're looking for a specific keyword. And you may appreciate, sometimes people get over hundreds of applicants, so they only search for that keyword. They press Command and F or Control and F just to find that keyword, both for your CV and your LinkedIn profile. It's important to have it. If there are specific programs that you use, depending on the industry that you are, or if, for example, if you are in marketing, is there a specific area? Are you B2B, B2C? Are you, in marketing automation? It depends on what you do. It's really important to put it in your profile, so it can help people ascertain if you're the right person for that position, and to save time for both the person who's looking at your profile and for yourself, so that they won't contact you for a role that is not suitable for you. And then you wanted to talk about the summary, how people write their summaries. Please
stop writing summaries in third person. It just makes you seem like a bit of a douche. That's the truth.
It's a bit better if it's in first person. It seems a bit more approachable and more realistic. It's not like series. In series you can be in third person, but when it comes to LinkedIn profiles, it's a bit weird. Like if I wrote, Houmi is recruitment consultant who is, it will be a bit
smart,
weird.
funny,
I'm not
handsome.
sure about that.
I mean, we won't go into too much detail for the summary. That's a whole topic of its own. But I think if you think about it like this, so the summary is quite, think about it like the About Us page on any website that you visit. You go onto the About Us page and you think, if they're just listing highlights and they're just saying, the company was founded in 1996 or something, you're not likely to read it. So don't use the summary to summarize every achievement that you've done, all the milestones, etc., because you do have the roles below to sell you. Maybe talk about why you do what you do. Talk about what you're passionate about. Talk about your vision for, if you're a social media strategist. Keep it a bit more general there, because people will be able to see what you're doing further down below in the roles.
And share what your passion is. It's like if there's a certain area you really like to get into, write about it, and then it's actually will become your keyword as well. People will see that you have a passion about that area, and it would help you to actually shape your career in a way that you really like to. And just one thing that I would like to add, if you have recently moved to Australia, mention what type of visa you are on and what type of position you're looking for. It could really help you out. And even if you are an Australian citizen who's been overseas for a really long time and you're back, still mention it, because people won't know what type of visa you're on. So it's important to mention it there, so people know whether they should contact you for permanent roles with sponsorship, and it will really help. Oh, thank you, James. It's great to hear from you. Thank you.
And also, I think the next very important point is maybe let your current and your last two roles sell you. If you've been in 6-7 roles, chances are your current or your last role are just an extension of what you were doing in your first role 10 years, 15 years ago. So maybe keep those older roles to a company name and a job title, and then the current role and the last two roles really explain what you were doing, what your responsibilities were, etc. If you're from overseas, I would definitely, or you work in a small business, recommend writing just one line what the business is about. So, for example, I worked at Jungformat in Germany, which over there everyone knows it's a very big creative agency. But here, not everyone knows it. So I put down on my profile, Germany's most successful independent agency with over 1,000 employees in 7 cities. And all of a sudden people know, okay, well, this is what she does. Yeah, it gives you a bit of credibility as well.
Exactly. No, that does really help. And there was one more thing. Oh, I forgot it. I was going to say something.
It's going to come up.
It's totally gone off. Like, I totally have forgotten about what I was going to say, but it's okay. But you were going to talk about how people can add multimedia.
So your LinkedIn profile doesn't just have to be written word. You actually have the option for each job to add multimedia as well. So it could be a link to your folio, it can be linked to articles of your copywriter, it can be photos. In my profile, for example, I actually have added a link to a blog post about me that's on the Creative Recruiters website, which is kind of different to my LinkedIn profile in the way that it talks about who I am as a person, that I like to eat chocolate, and that I've got a dog. And I just think it's a really nice way for people to get to know you. So anything that you add there about your work or your personality, I think adds a little bit of extra value to your profile. Yeah.
And thank you, Sanderson. That's a really good question, and that reminds me what I was going to talk about. Sanderson here is asking that how can one treat their LinkedIn profile if they want to have a change in their career? Well, before I talk about that, I'll just say if you have changed career and you're no longer interested in working in the previous industry that you worked in, you do not have to delve into that in your LinkedIn profile. For example, if you're a graphic designer and previously you did something that has nothing to do with graphic design, then you don't have to include it. And to respond to you, Sanderson, it's important, like if you are going to a totally different field that you've never worked in, it's really important to utilize your summary to mention what your passion is and the area that you're looking to get into. You can, for example, I'm not sure what industry you might be interested in, but if you are interested, let's just say in digital marketing, you can say a digital marketing enthusiast and mention the type of course or whatever steps that you're taking right now to get into that step. And that way, people, when they look at your profile, they will be able to see it. And you can even create a job title that says that you're an enthusiast for this position. And then that way, people can find you, and mention that you have recently graduated and you're looking for an open or entry level positions. And these days, you can actually, on your LinkedIn profile, mention that you're open to new opportunities. You can select that in your profile and say that you're interested in internship or entry-level positions. That could help you a little bit. And yeah, talking about your passion and what you're interested in could really help. And if you have done something in your previous roles that could add value to this role, you can say in your summary, because I've done this type of position, I can transfer these skill sets to this new type of career that I like to. For example, if it's related to managing customers or something, how you might be able to transfer some of those skills into the new position. I hope that helps. Then, so what was the next one? Endorsement.
Took a few, endorsements. So you can add skills to your LinkedIn profile. There are all sorts of skills out there. There are skills for eating the most chocolate. I mean, people have completely unrelated skills. People can just add those for you. So it's important that you clean them out every now and then. And I would say pick the 3 to 5 skills that you really want to be known for, and make sure that you have endorsements for those skills. So nothing worse than saying, you're a graphic designer focusing on brochures, and then you've got it as a skill, but no one's endorsed you for it. So a way to do that is to go and endorse your colleagues first, which will more than likely get them
put
to
the pressure on them to endorse you as well.
Exactly.
And no, sorry, go ahead. And the same goes with recommendations. Ask for recommendations from people, and don't ask them to just say, oh, you're a nice person, but to talk about the type of projects that you provide, like you did for them. Like, for example, they can say that Pia was really good at managing clients, or worked with these type of projects, and Pia's responsibility was this. A little bit like a reference, but in a short and complimentary way.
And you can get those from colleagues, from bosses, from clients. I mean, even a range would be good. So if you're a freelance graphic designer, people want to know that you're good to work with. You're easy to get along with. You take the brief. You do what you're going to say you do. You deliver on time. So maybe have a few clients recommend you as well. And the only other thing with recommendations, make sure they're not outdated. So make sure they don't recommend you for skills that are no longer necessary in your role. Maybe you've changed, maybe you've evolved. So then, might seem counterintuitive to cull some of those, but I would recommend doing that as well.
And Sanderson just asked one more question that I will get back to him. And he's saying that he has worked in a creative job out of necessity, and recently moved to Melbourne looking to move to creative work. So entry-level positions, as you may appreciate, is a bit challenging. So on our website, we have an area that we have one blog that is called Tips for Graduates. You can definitely check that. It could give you some help. And the second suggestions that I would make is that try to network as much as you can. There are a lot of meetups in Melbourne that you can go to depending on the area of creative that you are interested in, but it's always good to show that you have an interest in a certain area of creative. If you say that I'm open to anything, people think that you don't have any passion. But if you go to them with a goal and say, this is who I want to become and this is what I'm going for, first of all, you will be able to create a folio based on that and tailor your work towards that. And you will have a vision and a goal to drive towards to. And then that way you can, when you're talking to people, you say, I'm looking for an entry level for this. And that could help you to get your foot in the door. But it's okay. Everyone, when they start working, have worked from other industries. No one just like, they're not born into a career. So you can just meet with people and tell them about what you're looking to get into.
And if you've worked for a while and then for whatever reason you've had to move out of your job. So for example, when I moved from Germany over to Australia, I had to go and do farm work. You're not going to find that on my LinkedIn profile because it's just not relevant. And I just thought to myself, you know what, the break that I took, so I did farm work up in Archer River, which is 700 kilometers north of Cairns. Builds character, but it's not really relevant to my work as a recruiter. And so I actually thought to myself, you know what, no one needs to know about that. I just put it down as a gap year. Which I did travel Thailand for a little bit, etc. So when people ask me, I'll tell them, but I won't necessarily put it on my LinkedIn profile. And that's also important for you if I see a lot of people that still have the jobs on their profile that got them through university. So I think we've all worked hospitality, maybe retail. Take them off because take them off because what actually we see on the other end is your last 2 or 3 roles. So we have an overview of a page with when we're in search, a page with 20 candidates, and we screen them. And so when it says retail assistant at Coles, which is completely nothing wrong with that job, but if that means that one of your other roles before that were more relevant to your work as a social media manager or a graphic designer, if that means that they don't get they don't show up on there, so we won't know. We might think you're a graduate when really you might have just done that part-time for a little while or
Okay, and then I'm trying to think, is that it? Is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Yes,
so if you have
if you have any questions, just post them or feel free to contact us. More than happy to answer any other questions you might have. But if not, this was the lunch with Pia and Houmi.
We're going to go and have some actual lunch now.
Yes.
You can find our details on the Creative Recruiters website. So feel free to shoot us through an email if you do have any questions. Otherwise, there'll be another lunch soon.
Yes. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you all.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.